What if religion never existed? Let's imagine a world where no one ever believed in gods, deities, or any higher powers. No temples, no churches, no mosques. Just humans figuring things out on their own, no divine guidance. How different would life be? First off, let's rewind to ancient times. Religion for thousands of years wasn't just about praying to a god or gods. It shaped societies. It gave answers to questions like, where do we come from? Or why does the sun rise every day? All questions we couldn't explain. In a world without religion, humans would have had to come up with other explanations early on. Maybe we'd turn to science a lot sooner than we actually did. Think about it. Instead of saying, oh, it's raining because the rain god is pleased, we'd be asking, why is it raining? We might have figured out weather patterns much earlier. Imagine our ancestors becoming scientists way back in the Stone Age, discovering electricity while still trying to figure out how to make a decent wheel. But that's just one side of the coin. Religion also gave people a sense of community, a moral compass, and rules for living. Now, if religion didn't exist, would we still have developed things like kindness, empathy, or the idea of justice? Probably, but we'd likely base it on reason and logic rather than belief in divine punishment or reward. Instead of, do good because you'll go to heaven, it'd be more like, do good because it's the right thing to do, and you don't want to be a jerk. Now here's a fun twist. What about holidays? In a world without religion, no Christmas, no Eid, no Diwali, no Hanukkah? Boring, right? What would we even celebrate? Maybe we'd throw parties for scientific breakthroughs like the discovery of fire or the invention of the wheel. Happy Wheel Day, everyone. Get your presents and gather around the bonfire. Or maybe we just create new reasons to party, because, let's be honest, humans love a good celebration. And then there's politics. If religion never existed, we wouldn't have had religious wars, crusades, or inquisitions. The history books would look very different, and maybe, just maybe, we'd be a little less divided. But here's the thing, humans are really good at finding reasons to disagree. So instead of fighting over beliefs, we'd probably argue about other things, like land, resources, or maybe even which scientist is right. Speaking of scientists, if we'd focused more on reason and logic early on, our technological advancements could be light years ahead. Imagine flying cars in the 1800s. Or maybe we'd be living on Mars by now, sipping space coffee and wondering why we ever wasted time arguing over things we couldn't prove. Without religion, we might have funneled all that energy into progress instead of, well, disagreements about the afterlife. But there's a catch. Religion didn't just give us conflict, it also gave people hope. It helped humans deal with the tough questions like death, suffering, and the meaning of life. Without religion, people would have to face the cold, hard facts of existence. You live, you die, and, well, that's it. No heaven, no reincarnation, no pearly gates. Would humans still find meaning in their lives without the promise of something beyond? Here's where it gets interesting. We might have turned to philosophy and art even more. Maybe instead of religious texts, we'd rely on philosophers like Socrates, Confucius, or even Einstein to guide us. We'd dig deeper into questions about the universe, our purpose, and how we should live. Instead of what does God want, we'd ask what can achieve. Now, let's look at creativity. Religion inspired some of the most incredible art, architecture, and literature in history. No pyramids, no Sistine Chapel, no Buddha statues, none of it would exist in this alternate world. But that doesn't mean humans wouldn't be creative. We'd still build, paint, and write, but maybe our inspiration would come from nature, science, or even space. Imagine a world where our biggest temples are science labs, and the most celebrated figures are the people who cracked the code of the universe. So what would our daily lives look like in this religion-free world? Without religious rituals, people might focus more on practical self-improvement, working out moral and ethical dilemmas through reason. Maybe there'd be classes on Ethics 101 in school instead of Sunday school. Communities could still come together, but for different reasons, like learning, sharing ideas, or even just hanging out because, well, humans love to socialize. Would this world be better or worse than ours? Well, that's hard to say. Religion brought comfort, community, and answers, though sometimes at the cost of conflict. Without it, we might have focused more on discovery, unity, and building a fairer world based on logic. But we'd lose that sense of mystery, faith, and the comfort of believing in something bigger than ourselves. So, while a world without religion could have meant faster scientific progress, fewer wars, and more rational thinking, it also might have been a colder, lonelier place, where humans had to find new ways to answer the age-old questions of life, death, and purpose.